As the sun sets on India's T20 World Cup campaign, there is a need for a proper inquest. There are no two ways about the fact that the Indians cracked under pressure in the ICC event once again. New Zealand are proving to be a menace for Team India, and this will be another test going ahead. Hello everyone, this is your host Anuj Prabhu, and today once again I have Cricket Wellington's coach Glenn Pocknall with me. Hi Glenn, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me on again. It's been a while since I was on last time after the Test Championship, but yeah, good to come on again and talk about cricket.
Yeah. So you have the bragging rights, mate. New Zealand is playing some cricket of completely different level.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like it was so pleasing to see the New Zealand side get to the World Cup final and probably exceeded a lot of people's expectations just to even get to that point. And it's a shame we couldn't get over the hurdle against Aussie. But I guess that's part and parcel with cricket these days. But I think a lot of the public here in New Zealand are very proud of how well the teams played through that tournament to get there and beating some of the so-called favourites like the Pakistan team, the Indian team, and the very strong England side of the semi-final. So it was pretty cool to witness that as a sports fan and a cricket fan here in New Zealand.
Yes, sir. So how do you look ahead now? The road ahead for New Zealand now that the India series is coming up, and they did announce their squad a bit early, for the India series. Yeah. So do you think the bio bubble fatigue will play a role?
Look, potentially. I guess having experienced it myself when I was with Bangladesh, it's quite challenging, the whole bubble system, and you can become very isolated. You're stuck on your own. So that'll be the challenge for this New Zealand team now. They've been on the road for a while, and some of them have been on the road for longer than others. Some of them have been in the IPL and been through the whole bubble system there. So it's how they can bounce back from that, but also bounce back from losing the final just a couple of days ago. And that will be the challenge, but it'll also be something that they'll be very much looking forward to, going to India and competing against the Indian team in their conditions, which will be something that they're very excited about to I guess get a chance to win a series over there would be fantastic for this group of cricketers.
Now, India didn't have an ideal World Cup campaign. They suffered crushing defeats at the hand of Pakistan and New Zealand. Where do you think the Indian team went wrong? Did they back reputation too much, by not picking someone like a Harshal Patel who has picked up 32 wickets in the IPL? Where did the Indian team go wrong? Or is it just the bio bubble fatigue that is being talked about a lot?
Yeah, look, it's so hard to pinpoint, and I guess there's probably going to be a lot of different theories as to what everybody thinks. But just from my perspective, I believe that they looked tired, they looked fatigued, not physically fatigued, but I think mentally fatigued. We can't underestimate the toll that can take on players being in that bubble and playing a huge amount of cricket during the IPL and even prior to that, they haven't spent much time at home. So, look, I think the motivation was certainly there for them to do well, but just the amount of days that they've been in those conditions that can become very isolating do have a toll on your brain and I guess challenge you mentally in that regard. So I think their talent, they're one of the most talented sides of the World Cup, undoubtedly. But I think they just looked a little bit. They just looked a little bit drained and a little bit burnt out.
Yeah. So talking about the Indian squad, there have been some players who are rewarded for the IPL performances. Someone like a Ruturaj Gaikwad with 635 runs at an average of 46.61. and at a strike rate of 132.12 with 750s and 100. So where do you look, with such players out there, how do you look at them as a opponent?
That's the beauty of the Indian probably cricket system, is that there's so much depth and there's so much talent available to select from. And That's something that the Indian selectors have to balance, I guess, every time they select a team. But I think, the time is right for them to start introducing some of these players that have performed very well at the IPL level, because, they haven't the Indian team as such hasn't performed to their potential going into these ICC events. So now I guess there's an opportunity building towards the next World Cup, and the ODI World Cup is just to try a few of these guys out and see how they can handle the international game, because you don't know really until you give them a go.
Yeah. There has been a lot of talk about Hardik Pandya not performing as an all-rounder. So India have, added Venkatesh Iyer in the squad. He had a brilliant IPL with 370 runs in just 7 games at an average of 41.1 and a strike rate of 128.5 with 450s. He also picked up 3 wickets. So where do you see this talent going?
Yeah, look, I think you're right. He's shown the all-round capabilities and doing that in the IPL and in those challenging circumstances and services. I think that all goes well for his future. And yeah, we're great to see how he goes really, and see if he can replicate some of those same numbers that you just mentioned on the international stage. Yeah.
So speaking about Harshal Patel that we spoke, just some time ago, 32 wickets, brilliant. And he bowling 63 dot balls in the middle overs and at a brilliant average of 14.34. So do you think he could have played a big part in the Indian T20 World Cup campaign? Or do you think that, it was probably right to back the pacers like Mohammad Shami and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar based on their reputation?
Yeah, in hindsight, they probably should have given him a go and should have picked him. But it's easy to say that now because the other I guess incumbents haven't done the job, and I guess that is something that the selectors have to balance at the time when they do kind of pick these teams. They're looking at the experience and the reputation and the past performance of some of those guys, and then you balance it out with this new kid on the block who's come in and done very well in the IPL, and is, I guess, in form at the moment. Like, personally, I think give him a go. Like, he's performed in those conditions that the World Cup's going to be in. So, why not give him a go if he's performed in those conditions? And there's nothing saying that he's not going to do that against those international sides. So it's probably an opportunity lost there.
So there are some key player battles to watch out for. Rohit Sharma versus left-arm pacers. We did see Shaheen Afridi troubling him in the first game. In 123 innings, he has been dismissed 37 times, and his average is just 24.72. So where do you think he's going wrong? As a right-hand batsman, as an opener, it is so important to, have your feet going. But the way he just plants his right foot and that creates a problem. So do you think that's the issue, or is there any other issue?
Yeah, look, I think that probably is the issue, and it is quite often highlighted when the ball is either swinging or doing something off the surface, and I don't know how much that's going to play a part in these games in India. Like, I probably don't know enough about the surfaces and the conditions to see if the swinging ball is going to be evident. Like, if it is, it's going to challenge him because of that front foot planting. But if there's no swing and there's no seam, we also know that Rohit Sharma can get in and he can also bat big. So I think the challenge for him will be getting through any conditions or any early movement that there is for the seamers. And if he can get through that, then he's shown, time again that he can bat.
Yeah. So another player battle to watch out for is Kane Williamson versus Ravichandran Ashwin. Ashwin dismissed him 5 times, and he had a great World Cup individually. So do you think Ashwin will play a part this time around too?
Oh, look, yeah, Ashwin is an unbelievable spinner in all conditions, but, in his home conditions, he's one of the best, isn't he? So he's going to play a massive role for India, not just against Kane Williamson. I think his role will be against all the New Zealand batsmen, because he will challenge them with his accuracy and with his ability to spin the ball. So, I think that's something that the New Zealand batters will be probably talking long and hard about, just about how they plan to play against him, and also how they plan to score runs off him, because he's a tricky customer in those conditions.
Yeah. Now Deepak Chahar holds the record for the best T20I bowling figures ever. He has the ability to pick up wickets in the power play, and he will come up against Martin Guptill, who is himself a very attacking batsman. So he has Deepak Chahar in the power play. He has picked up 51 wickets at the economy rate of just 7.62. So how do you see that battle going?
Well, it's going to be a fantastic battle, isn't it? And it's going to be really interesting to see how New Zealand play him through those those power play overs with the numbers you just mentioned. It's pretty extraordinary. So I guess there's two schools of thought. They can go out and all out attack him, or they can show him a little bit more respect and look to see him off, so to speak, without him causing too much damage. But I think at the end of the day, Martin Guptill and the rest of the New Zealand players will be backing their skills, albeit in different conditions to what they had in the World Cup, but they should go into the series with a lot of confidence in how they're playing as a team and how they're going individually, and taking that into the series will be key for their mentality and for their success in it.
Yeah. So, which is the one player battle that you are looking forward to?
I'm probably looking forward to seeing Ashwin. Probably the one you've highlighted. In the tests, probably Ashwin against Tom Latham. Ashwin has got extraordinary stats against Tom Latham. And Tom Latham, as seen in New Zealanders' eyes, he's one of the best players of spin in New Zealand, if not around the world. He's very accomplished at playing spin bowling. So I'm really looking forward to that duel in the test matches and just seeing how they both go about it and seeing, I guess, who can come out on top at the end of the day.
Now, speaking about the test series, Ajinkya has been named as the captain. Where do you think this goes? Because the way he batted in England, many people, were calling out for him being dropped from the side. So how do you see this going?
Yeah, I think you're right. We've got to remember the conditions at England are going to be far different to what they're going to be facing in India. So a lot of batsmen struggle in those English conditions like we have here sometimes in New Zealand, just because the ball bounces a lot more, it seems a bit more, it swings a bit more. So that's going to challenge any batsman in the flatter services in India. Then he's, I guess, by given the captaincy and given the opportunity of the bat, he's also been given that opportunity to prove people wrong. And I guess that's his chance, and time will tell whether he does that. Hopefully, for the New Zealanders' sake, he doesn't.
Yeah. So Ashwin is going to be a big threat, as you said. But even Jadeja, if he gets a bit of turn, he's going to be a dangerous bowler. So how do you see the New Zealand players tackling him?
Yeah, look, you're right. The spinners are going to play a big part in this series, I believe. So, using your feet is going to be very important. Both the Indian spinners are especially accurate. So, using your feet so you can, I guess, either get out to the pitch of the ball early to minimise any spin, or using your crease backwards by getting back and playing it late so you can give the ball an opportunity to move and then place it. So every batter is going to have a different method as to how they go about it. Some batsmen will want to use their feet. Some batsmen will want to use a crease laterally and horizontally. But the key thing, I guess, for the batters is just having a clear plan of how they're going to score runs. At times it's very easy to go into survival mode. In Indian conditions against the spinners, but I think they have to go in with a mentality of how they're going to score their runs, because ultimately that's what the game's about. It's getting more runs than the opposition, and the opposition are trying to get more wickets than you. So having some clear plans around that is going to be important, not just for New Zealand but also for the Indian side. The New Zealand side have got a lot of spin bowlers in their ranks that I'd imagine will play key roles as well.
Yeah. And also about Akshar Patel, he picked up a ridiculous 27 wickets, in 3 tests against England. And with India likely to dish out a dust bowl again, so where do you think this battle is going? Akshar Patel versus the right-handers, because the England batsmen were playing for the spin, but they were getting out on the straight ball. So where do you see this going?
Yeah, again, he got great control, which is the weapon, and it seemed like a lot of the batsmen really struggled to predict, as you say, whether the ball was going to slide on or whether it was going to turn. So the batters are going to have to study that pretty closely, study the video just to see if they can read some of the cues in terms of how he approaches his delivery, and also how it kind of comes out of his fingers and out of the wrist, so they can be one step ahead of him.
Yeah. So, finally with the predictions, what do you feel will be the scoreline for the T20 series and the Test series?
Oh, look, I think it's going to be quite tight, just because the Indian team will feel they've got a lot to prove, and they'll probably want to get the support back from the public after bombing out in the World Cup. And the New Zealanders will be hurting from the World Cup, that's for sure. But they'll also be very excited, I guess, by having a series in India, because I know it's a lot of Kiwi cricketers' dreams is to play over there. So it's going to be tight. Look, I have to pick a 2-1 series victory to New Zealand, and hope so. And the tests are going to be absolutely intriguing. It's that's what I'm looking forward to the most, because it's there's a Test Championship points up for grabs. So both teams are going to be wanting to win the game, and I do feel New Zealand are going to be a real chance, just because they've picked a very strong spin bowling attack that are very talented as well, and a lot of the spinners in their ranks can also offer valuable runs with the bat. So I'll probably sit on the fence with that one, and say it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Glenn. It was a pleasure talking to you, and discussing cricket with you once again. It was great to have your insights on the India-New Zealand series coming up, and we really hope that it will be a very competitive series.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I hope it will be, and I'm sure it will be. I think both teams have got a lot to play for, so looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And guys, if you love the video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you so much.